Now, South Africa might be back on the scheduled flights to the UK, but the temporary ban is bound to hit the tourism sector deeply. The ban was placed on South Africa and other 5 Southern African countries earlier this week, following the discovery of a new COVID-19 variant, rather late last week, that being the busiest time. Of course, for the sector, it might have to do with our UK tourists. Ronald Masinda has been out and about in Cape Town. He's now back in our studios there. He's going to be talking to us just to tell us about how the tourism sector and the wine industry says it's dealing with plenty of cancellations. I don't know what they've been telling you, Ronald. I mean, we know the garden route, the wine route at this time of the year. We get people coming from all over the world to come and enjoy one of the best beverages in the world, the wines of the Cape.
Yes, indeed, Brad. And well, what we heard from the industry is that during the first 48 hours when those travel bans were announced, where South Africa couldn't go to some of the most developed countries, the industry had lost around 1 billion rand. That's only in cancellations. Tourists cancelling their trips to areas such as the Western Cape, and those numbers are expected to rise even further going forward. And this is a huge loss to the industry that has been working really hard to try and bring back tourists. The wine industry alone had estimated that it had lost around 25,000 jobs and billions of rands. And the tourism sector and the wine industry, they work hand in hand, especially during the festive season, when many tourists, as you rightly mentioned, enjoy the trips on the Cape Wineland. So what we also heard was in a stat that was thrown by the Western Cape MEC for Economic Opportunities and Finance, he had said that in 2019 alone, the Western Cape had 194,000 UK tourists, and each tourist had spent over 24,000 rand. And that just gives you the enormity of some of the financial losses that many businesses here could lose if this ban continues, especially with the UK and the Western Cape being working very well hand in hand for many, many years, especially during the Cape summer. We also spoke to Peter Pence. He is a communications manager of one of the more renowned wine businesses here in the Western Cape. This is what he had to say.
Or the big worry, of course, is the red bans or the banning of travel. That is a big problem for international visitors coming to South Africa. We are in a peak season right now where tourism is of the utmost importance, and we're currently losing out on that tourism. So that is a big concern for the industry. As a wine producer, we are concerned because that means less travellers to our farm, and we need to rely more on our domestic markets.
Yeah, I just wonder where the support is going to come from. It's really tough now for the wine industry and the tourism industry yet again. But the country is trying to deal with this new variant, Omicron, as we heard Ronald from the president the other day. There's now a task team as well to look at whether or not the country should implement mandatory vaccinations. And some of the people we've been speaking to there today say it might not be such a bad idea.
Yes, indeed, Pradan. Well, speaking to Jeanette Momberg, she's from Visit Stellenbosch, she's the CEO. She said that they are on a very aggressive vaccination drive just to try and show a message that it is important to vaccinate. So majority, in fact, probably 90% of staff and people who are within their sector have been vaccinated. So they are encouraging the mandatory vaccinations to take place in order to save the economy, essentially, because they feel that this is the only way forward, because the businesses cannot afford any more hard lockdowns. The liquor industry or the wine industry cannot afford more liquor bans, as well as these travel bans. So that's the only way forward for businesses, especially here in the Western Cape, that depend on tourism and wine industry as a way of survival. But one of the challenges could possibly be, and this is a story that we also uncovered earlier this year, farm workers at wines, many of them still reluctant, many of them still not quite aware of the importance of being vaccinated. So that's one of the challenges that came out in one of the conversations that we had in Stellenbosch earlier today. But this is what Mrs. Momberg had to say earlier.
So we here in Stellenbosch has a campaign that we call Jabs for Jobs, because it is very important for our members and for our members' staff to understand that unless they are jabbed, jobs might be at risk. So we are driving that, and we of course also positioning Stellenbosch as a safe destination to make sure that our guests understand that once they're here, and we make that part of our Stellenbosch Ready campaign, which is our safety campaign, to make sure that they understand that we take vaccination very, very serious, and we are encouraging our members to encourage their staff to get vaccinated, and I'm very proud to say that we've got a high number of 100% vaccinated tourism establishments, and that we are way over 80% at the moment within our industry. But that conversation we keep on driving. It's very important for us to get that message, and should mandatory vaccinations be on the cards, that to us will be a very positive step.